Ned, and this is a Star Wars podcast show thing. We're going to talk about Star Wars news, and Rob's a ghost, and James is a living man.
It's crazy. Jason, you told me James got into that whole like Ocean Gate thing, and I was like, oh no, but he's here. You lied to me, Jason.
Hey,
this is actually blue screen.
Yeah, you got me all worried.
Yeah.
So Jay, I thought James imploded. So
Twitter's broken. So if you watch the show on Twitter today and you're wondering where your show was, well, that's where it went. Nowhere.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Well, nice to have you here, James. Can't wait to disagree with you. All right, here we go.
All right. Yeah. So, really, quickly, I was gonna make this an article, but then I decided not to make it an article. Bespin probably won't, but he can if he wants to. You know, kind of thing. And I was having dinner this week with some, let's just say, people in Disney, around Disney, people that are owned by Disney, people in indentured servitude to Disney for the rest of their lives.
It's Chapek, isn't it? It's Chapek.
No, it wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me.
Sorry,
look at him off my back. But anyways, well, so there. And I find it interesting. So like we're let's just say we're eating. We're eating. We're chomping down meatballs, SpaghettiOs. We're having a SpaghettiO Disney dinner, okay? And during it, somebody goes, "Did you know that Kenobi had an opening crawl and was called Kenobi: A Star Wars Story?" Did you ever like it? I'm like, I have heard that before. Like, yeah, it was. And then so in the conversation, I'm just like, I'm kind of bagging on A Star Wars Story. And I'm like, they're like, it's not necessarily totally dead, like that moniker.
Oh,
and then I'm like, would they like, they're not going to use it like on the Rey one. They're like, I doubt it. I don't think we're going to do that or something. And I was like, okay, but they're like, there's a chance that like the James Mangold movie, it's intended to be a one-off, and we could go that way. And then they said, for some of the films in Disney, on the Disney side, are referred to as A Star Wars Story 3, A Star Wars Story 4, etc. And so it could just be fucking filing, and it could just be a department, for instance, who is just using that because they don't want to go the James Mangold one, and then Mangold leaves, and then it becomes Taika Waititi. You know what I mean? It could be like a whole thing. So it might just be that, but also there's always this tiny little baby chance we haven't seen the end of the Star Wars Story titles. But the one thing, but on the other flip side of this, when Rogue One was being kind of promoted again, it's still there. When you go to buy your tickets on Fandango, it's still Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. But we're not seeing A Star Wars Story with Rogue One as exclusively hard as we used to. There have been examples where it's not there anymore. So I don't know. It's more of like a food for thought. I don't have any answers. So if anybody else regurgitates this, I don't have any answer. Like what I just said is like, that's well, it's just like a kind of a big like
Summer Story.
You know what I mean? No, it's yeah. And the thing is, I don't want to say that. How do I say this? Disney came up with it, and the Marvel Disney people always go like Lucasfilm marketing, blah 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 blah. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of the legacy of Lucasfilm PR. I think it's literally the worst. But on top of all of that, when they were making the sequel, when they were making the that was a third-party firm, I think, but that they hired. But anyways, when they were doing that crap for the solo era, sequel trilogy era stuff, that was all the Marvel people.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I mean,
but it doesn't. It's not applicable. That's the problem.
Subtle shade.
It's yeah. You know what I mean? No, but that's actually like the thing is like they're being told like people love when it's called Doctor Strange because you have because comic book people view everything as just characters. it's this character. That's my guy. Spider-Man's my guy. So you call that movie Spider-Man. My allegiance is there. I'll see you day one. Like it's a different kind of like thing, whereas Star Wars is seen as this like, you know,
what if they, Jason? What if they, because these modern Star Wars fans like Meg and Azatru and like, James and
the next generation,
Santa and
Young at Heart,
Jonesy,
Sure.
That's one of them, right? Jonesy's one of them.
Indiana Jones.
They like these eras, right? Everything's an era to them, right? You like this era stuff, right, James? Is it the High Republic era? Is it the New Republic? Okay, look, James and I agree. This is stupid. But what if they call it? Man's Gold, New Republic era.
That's,
you know what I mean? Like
but the point
or
of
a New Republic story.
They've already done this. I mean, they had their whole era thing out. Like they went and named everything poorly, in my opinion, of what they were all called. It wasn't very exciting sounding. It sounded like somebody who was doing an anthropology project went and just named everything like it was for a textbook, honestly. But that said, there was an issue when you had the sequel trilogy films coming out, when you were doing episode 7, 8, and 9, and you didn't want to put 7, 8, and 9. You didn't want Roman numerals. Disney knows Roman numerals are hard for us dummies, so they don't want that. They got rid of those. And
I don't know what Super Bowl we're in. I couldn't tell you.
Oh, those fucking football dummies have no fucking idea what's going on at all. I don't care what they say. They have no idea. They're like, but
it's like trying to make sense out of the charms and Lucky Charms. Well, I don't know what those are.
Okay, but what I'm trying to get at here is that there was a reason for it, though. It was so that way, your fucking dumb fuck aunt and uncle don't show up at the movie going, "Where's this Ray's mom? Is that Ray now?"
They still did that.
I know, but and they voted for Trump, and they're fucking stupid, and there's nothing you can do about those people. But they had a fucking. But look at it from the corporate standpoint. You do have a hurdle there. We have a series, and we have the Senate. How do we deal with it, right? In my opinion, I don't think that's going to amount to anything, because we don't have the sequel trilogy films going on anymore. We don't have
the answer.
But I know, but hold on. But they don't know yet. I haven't said it all yet. They don't have to make a designation between 7, 8, and 9 in those films. Therefore, a Star Wars story becomes redundant. It becomes it's the other way now. Everything is a Star Wars story, so it doesn't need to be said. When something is part of an ongoing saga, it needs the designation in that point now. So I'm more of the opinion that it will be called like fucking, Ray's fucking Jedi College Adventure Party School 3, something like that. But sorry, Rob, go on.
Well, I mean, look, there's two ways. There's that way where Ray has Jedi Academy semicolon, then the fucking the Academy Strikes Back, some bullshit like that. Yeah. And the other ones are single word things, right? They don't have a semicolon.
Oh, right? like Star Wars menstruation.
I didn't say that. You said that.
I said it. Star Wars menstruation.
I didn't say that. So, but I think personally, man, they should just pick a era for the movies and let all the one-offs be on Disney Plus. And then when they're done with that era, move the new era to the movies. So if you're going to do a Jedi Academy, stick to one fucking era for the movie so people can follow the theaters. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so if you're going to do a Man's Goal one-off, that should just be like a series on TV. Like, already, I know we're way past it. I get it.
We're beyond it.
I hear you, but that's how you get rid of the confusion. So the next time you go to Star Wars, it's connected to the last fucking thing you saw. Could you imagine if Cameron was doing an Avatar one-offs that took place 1,000 years before the other one? Everyone would be fucking confused.
Think about what I said at the start of the show, though. that did you know Star Wars was called, or Obi-Wan Kenobi was called Kenobi, a Star Wars story? Did you know that, Jason?
Yeah, I did know it.
But what do we know about it? It was going to be a trilogy. They wanted to make it a trilogy in the end. So I think that they would have had to have stripped the moniker at a point anyways. and I'm guessing that these movies will just like that subtitle probably won't get thrown in until after the first one is successful, and then it goes on. Otherwise, there's like no point, because if you do the Mangold movie and it's just a one movie, you don't want to call it like the fucking the first Jedi saga, and then it's like, oh, but it's one movie. The first Jedi saga is one. You're telling me the first Jedi saga is one movie, and that's all it ever is. Cool. So I think they add it later, personally.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's a solution to the problem, because the average normie is not going to get any of this crap. They don't know what New Republic era is. They don't know what High Republic is.
Yeah.
And the average person probably doesn't give a shit that you're going to put out a trailer. It's going to be a Star Wars movie. They're going to go see it. They don't care what era it's in. And you're never going to untangle it for the average person that's not paying close attention to all the different eras. So it's like, why even bother? Just put Star Wars, Dawn of the Jedi, let them fucking figure it out. And then they'll have someone like me at the movie to explain it to them. You know,
it's going to be.
Is that Ray's mom? Like, you know.
James is the guy who leans in and explains to a whole family, and they're like, "Sir, this is a Wendy's." So, like, yeah, I think it's going to be real great when we get 2 in 1 year and people think they're connected. You know what I mean? Was Ray going to team up with Mando? Like that's.
But also, I don't think that we should go around and design everything around the least common denominator in society. You know, I'm fucking over it. Like in the big picture, I'm done. I'm done with stupid.
Yeah.
Here's what I think: if you just fucking make something that's fucking amazing, people will go see it. They'll tell their friends to go see it. You just want right now, man. Right. And I'm standing firm with this. This is my new.
Okay, this is your new take?
Bingo. This is my new. I'm going to be repeating this for the next year, probably 2.
Oh no!
Word of mouth, man. That's what gets these fucking people into the theaters. You tell your friends go see it, they're gonna go. That's doing word of mouth right now. Is doing better than any trailer marketing campaign can do for you. Better than it ever has. You know,
just like Rob said, is you put out a quality movie. I mean, look at Rise of Skywalker; it made $1 billion. You know,
okay,
you put out a high quality product.
That's before. No, that's before COVID. Right. But now we're in mass inflation.
Yeah.
Right. See, had the Flash come out in 2018, would have made a lot more money. I'm telling you right now. Like, people were different then, James. People were different. Now they're like,
I don't know.
I don't know if I want to spend $150 at the movie theater. Is it really good?
Well,
you can wait.
How much did Wolverine Origins do?
Wolverine Origins did 300, almost 400 million, and then the second one did almost 100 million more than that.
So that's what the Flash probably would have done. I mean, I would say the Flash.
I think Flash would have done between 4 and 6, give or take. But you just can't tell, James. Did you really think Aquaman would have made $1 billion fucking dollars? You just don't know, right? I could tell you this: it would have done more than 55 million opening weekend. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah. So we are in a thing right now where people don't want to spend more money than they have to, and they don't feel they can trust any commercial to tell them what something is. They don't feel Rotten Tomatoes means dick shit to them. It's who's telling them to go see something. This is amazing, and I can kind of prove it right empirically by Puss in Boots. That shit tanked, and then it came back. It was still making money even when you could buy it. Like Mario, you could buy Mario now, and it's still making money at the theaters.
Well, the Flash.
So if people love it, whether it's great or not, it's irrelevant. If the mass loves it, they will tell their friends. I'm not telling you to, everything's a freaking, masterpiece. I'm just telling you, if it's hitting with audiences, that's the thing that's going to keep it alive.
But it's so rare for a movie to do more in its second week. I mean, I can probably count on one hand the number of movies I can think of.
They're all James Cameron films.
True.
Yeah. You know what? James Cameron didn't save those people on the subs, so I guess he's not a hero, is he?
He didn't have. He did. No, that's not true. Well, he tried to. I'm not gonna get into it, but let's just say emails. The whole community warned that motherfucker to not build the boat. He told that that dude was warned about that stupid tin can of his,
Yeah. So. But that's the thing is like when you follow box office, you follow like all of these things about why this did well or that did well. A lot of the times the shit doesn't apply across the board. Like if a movie gets fucked up in its first week, like The Flash, then what do? They can sometimes just start going like, No, but they could start limiting it super hard, and then it doesn't even matter if it had good word of mouth. There's
And
industry things that work against that, like happening, like Puss in Boots. That one was and Mario were lucky that they kind of came out when there was nothing to remove it from the theater. But in a crowded summer, it's a different game. And Mario and Puss in Boots are all before the crowded summer. That's the difference, though.
And Rob would probably know if James Cameron movies, the per screen average might have been pretty good that first week, which led to increase.
He still did 150 million opening weekend, bro. Like movie right now, most movies would kill to have it.
Yeah.
So like
sure.
Like we're just in a different world now. Like going to the theater wise, I would say too. God damn it, Jason, you cut me off. Like I had a good point to make. I
thought I had a good point.
I lost it. I had a thought, like Captain Hook. I lost
it. That's where Star Wars has its problem.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say.
It's never gonna have good word of mouth. Star Wars is never going to have it. You will make more money on the internet anyways, being negative about it, and then on top of it, like they need a series to connect how they got Mando to connect. And until that happens, it's kind of like going to be a difficult thing for them, I think.
Jason, they need to be cool with one of these movies doing 750 million the first time out. Like the Batman.
Lucasfilm
the Batman 2 will make more than 750 million the second time out. Just in the same way that Batman Begins did 300 something, 400 million. It needed, because Batman and Robin was so fucking bad, that next one sets the tone, and it's not going to fucking do the money you want. But the second one, The Dark Knight, ended up making $1 billion.
But that should be what Disney Plus is. I mean, they've got a platform.
Look, let's not get started with Disney Plus should be, James. What it should be and what it is are two different things. What it is, I can tell you what it is. It's the direct-to-DVD Jafar, King of Jafar, Bambi 2. It's the same thing. It's a thing that's killing that company's IP in the same way that those direct-to-DVD videos killed all their fucking animation back in the early 2000s. They did the same thing because they made too much and they got cheap with the production.
Rob, you clearly haven't seen a live action
Forget spending money. Someone's going, we spent a little money. They feel cheap.
I mean,
that's
Tom
all
Hanks'
I can tell you.
Geppetto was phenomenal. I mean, I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking
they
about.
spent 250 million on Geppetto, and it looks like someone could have made that at Bat in the Sun for 10 grand. So
but everybody loves Tom Hanks. He's Geppetto. Come on.
All right, where were they when Joe versus the Volcano came out? I know where I was. At home, waiting for it to hit video because I wasn't going to see that shit.
They were saying, imagine if he was fighting against a whale.
Yeah, Bonfire of the Vanities. No one was there for that one. Don't get me started. Like, plenty of Tom Hanks failures,
Right,
and Forrest Gump over fucking rated. I'm saying.
Yeah.
It beats Shawshank Redemption for Best Picture. I don't think so, James.
Oh no. That's
and Jenny is a rapist. We can all agree on that, right?
Let's put it this way. If I wrote that someone should write that as a headline for a modern Karen messes with a mentally challenged guy.
BuzzFeed
Gives him an STD, right? And then impregnates, leaves him with the kid. Yeah, it's a whole problem.
Did you guys ever read the sequel to Forrest Gump where he goes to space?
What?
There's a book. There's the actual official sequel to Forrest Gump.
What?
He goes to space. I'm not even fucking around. It's the real sequel to Forrest Gump, and he goes to space.
Oh,
so,
boy.
Yeah, definitely. I think the author had enough of it too.
But if they're cool with this making 750 million, but the merch does good, it's got good word of mouth, you build off it. The problem is being reactionary and things having to make $1 billion every time they go to
if the Mando movie only does 750 million, you got problems.
I don't know.
I don't know about that. Don't underestimate
the reason
not having your lead guy in a fucking TV show for 2 years.
Established IP. I mean, if it only does 750 million, that's your intro, and then the next one's going to do more.
James, if the entirety of Disney Plus's base went and went to the movies, I this is actually no question, not like a statement. Would that be $1 billion?
I think it would, just for the same reason that The Force Awakens was $2 billion. I don't think The Force Awakens is only Star Wars fans pull it up. I don't think if you do a Mando movie, it's only people that subscribe to Disney Plus that are showing up for that movie.
Yeah.
If it is, I mean, yeah, then you got big problems.
Yeah, well, I told you when Grogu left, then you wait for the year or two, then do the movie because you got to hold off.
Yep.
But they're already going to have 2 seasons of Mando by the time this movie comes out. So
Oh
it's
no,
like
they kind of fuck themselves. Yeah, I mean,
2 seasons of Mando where Mando's not really in it. So
Well, and once again, I always have to say it because Rob always says it. When they did that, they weren't allowed to make movies.
I know.
Like
I
that
know.
wasn't possible for.
I'm not blaming
Lucasfilm
them
unless
I'm
You're not
blaming
blaming
Chuncheck. I'm blaming
No,
your
but-
your SpaghettiOs, buddy. All right.
Yeah. So
All right,
okay,
let's get on with it because FCG can't stand us talking about Star Wars.
So FGC, how you doing, buddy? What's going on at home?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're
You
not.
don't have
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of time for us lately, I've noticed.
Let's complain about Ray. Let's get to it.
Okay. So this broad synopsis for the Daisy Ridley led Star Wars New Jedi Order movie appears online. And for the record, I'm not complaining about it, but I contacted Production Weekly and I asked for the follow-up. I did try to do the work. And they haven't responded yet. Hopefully they do respond. It hasn't been 24 hours. I think it's fair to give somebody 24 hours. To be fair, I didn't see this until this morning. So this morning I wrote them and I said, "Hey, I have some questions about the synopsis. Is this from your collection of research, or is this something that was actually given to people being hired on to do the work and you've obtained it? Like, what's the deal with it?" So if they respond, we'll update and tell you what they said. But right now I don't have the response, and they haven't responded. So this is from bestmanbulletin.com, who you can support on Patreon if you want to, or give a coffee if you want to. Okay, today a new listing on a popular outlet listed a brief synopsis for the upcoming Daisy Ridley-led Star Wars film aiming to release in 2026 and dated its production to begin in the spring of 2024. Earlier today, with the release of their latest digital issue, Production Weekly has listed a start date for filming on the untitled Star Wars movie being written by Stephen Knight, Peaky Blinders, directed by Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, Ms. Marvel, because nobody knows what that is, Bespin, for April 2024. This comes a week after credible industry insider and journalist The Snyder took to his podcast, The Hot Mick, last week, where he revealed that despite Lucasfilm and Disney delaying the Rey-focused film from December 2025 to May 22nd, 2026, filming was still slated to begin in April of next year. Personally, I don't believe it to be a coincidence that the outlet has now listed an April start date following Snyder's comments. Production Weekly does have their own sources, but frequently lists reports from other outlets and sometimes online rumors in their listings if they believe the outlet or person reporting the date to be true or reputable. In addition to listing Daisy Ridley-led flick for an April start date, they also added a brief synopsis. Some of it seems hobbled together based off of information reported by other outlets and comments made by Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy and director Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, but it features details that have not been previously mentioned publicly. The listing reads, set roughly 15 years after Rey's victory over Palpatine and the end of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. The sequel delves into Rey's courageous endeavor to restore the Jedi Order, where she assumes the role of mentor to 2 promising young students, a girl and a boy. As their training progresses, it becomes evident the girl possesses extraordinary abilities destined to emerge as a future leader. So there's a couple of things about this that I'm not going to point them out. Like you ever hear that thing with Joseph Campbell, where he's like, I'm not going to tell you what the Nazis did because I don't want to train these people how to do what the Nazis did. There's a couple of things in here in the writing that I can tell you do not pass the Lucasfilm smell test from it being from Lucasfilm. We'll leave it there. But so I do believe that Bespin's take is correct, but there's always a chance this is from Disney or something like that, and it never went through Lucasfilm, and it just is wrong. But we'll see. I contacted them. We'll see if they respond. They might not. So Bespin goes on to say, personally, I don't believe the synopsis to be an official one whatsoever. It doesn't read like one, and I assume it's based off past comments made by creatives involved with the new Jedi Order movie, mixed in with some past information and perhaps some speculation. Like, oh yeah, of course it's going to be the girl who's the special one. We've known that the story will be set 15 years after the events of the Rise of Skywalker for 2 months, thanks to Kathleen Kennedy and Obi Chinoy, with the story focusing on Rey Skywalker attempting to build a new Jedi Academy. When the script was being written by Lost scribe Damon Lindelof, it was widely reported that the film would focus on 2 leads, a male character and a female character. And for the record, they were like also like in their 30s, according to the candidates to be the parts. So, with the later reports adding that the twosome would have been students of an aging Rey Skywalker, with Stephen Knight picking up where Lindelof left off, revamping and drafting a new script to Lucasfilm's vision, ditching past ideas that Lindelof had. It's safe to assume that the film would still revolve around Rey, but this time as the lead and an unknown number of students with emerging and developing Force powers. Oh yeah, that's something else that I could add to that general story. I still don't have a 100% ding 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 on my end of that Rey was old as shit. Remember that? Rey's old as fuck, and it's like going to be like a Helen Mirren type. But I was told now several times Daisy was always a part of this. So maybe there was going to be some stuff with like old Rey and then flashing to younger Rey fucking up and not making the Jedi Order work over time and then finally succeeding or something. I don't know. But something just does not click on my end. I don't know what it is.
Click, boom.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's not been, so Bespin goes on to write, I've not seen the synopsis listed online elsewhere, and I'm still much skeptical of its authenticity, but it's likely on the right track given information we've already learned over the past few months. Even if it's simple speculation or a collection of details we've already known drafted into a brief synopsis. Again, the April start date isn't new information, and we've probably made its way onto the listing as it came from an extremely reliable insider and journalist last week. The untitled Days to Ridley led Star Wars movie is expected to be released on May 2022, 2026. So that's like the gist of it. And yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it's a real synopsis. I think it's like people following the production were able to hobble out like the bullet pointed facts and then write it into something, you know. And on top of all of that, I think the 15 years since we saw Rey would probably be in there, but you probably wouldn't drop Rise of Skywalker into the title or into the synopsis. I could be wrong, and I'm curious when it shows up if they do. And I don't mean it like oh god, the movie's a stinky fart and they're all running from it. I don't mean it like that. I just mean like when you look at like yeah, but you know how they are though.
Tell us how you really feel, James.
Yeah, no, they want they definitely like know when their shit stinks, but they also want to have like the appearance that their shit don't stink.
Well, they would probably just say sequel trilogy. They would probably keep it pretty generic.
Yeah, or from Rey's last saga, or I would imagine there would be some creative like kind of tactful way of doing, you know, like they didn't overtly shit on the prequels when they were completely treating the prequels like stinky farts during the sequel trilogy's like launch, you know. So yeah, Hawk says Lindelof will probably get a writing credit like Trevorrow in 9. Oh, almost without a doubt, 100% he would.
Or story.
I mean,
Scab.
Yeah. No, because
Scabbing, writing for Star Wars during the strike.
Well, no, what people need to like realize is like when they go through and they talk about like the development of Kenobi, I always hear just these fucking just bullshit coming out of people's mouths about Joby Harold and this and that and shit like that. It's like you guys
what of it?
Well, okay, yeah. Here's the thing: is if you're going to write. So if I went and I took 25 writers, right, and I put them all into a room and said, write me a Disney Plus Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and make it 10 years after, somewhere around after Revenge of the Sith, between 0 and 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, go. Well, you know what's going to be in there? Luke Skywalker as a little baby boy to a child. Owen, Beru, you can't train the boy. I don't like you. and then some kind of understanding at the end of it, right? Between them, a truce, whatever it happens to be. You cannot tell that story without those things, unless you went way off the rails and like, this is the time Obi-Wan Kenobi left and went to the water planet and he was underwater scuba diving the whole
The
movie.
Watto planet.
Yeah.
Thought I turned into Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, right. But I mean, no, but the point being though is the first person to turn in a draft where Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru are on Tatooine with Luke and Obi-Wan's living down the street over at the Sand Lodge. That person's gonna get a writing credit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that's the way the industry is set up, and for usually for good reasons. It gets weird when it's like established IP with 99 sequels. That's when it gets a little bit like kind of silly, you know, like on The Flash. Same thing with The Flash. Joby Harold gets credit on the Flash movie. Probably actually is completely irrelevant to the final film entirely, though. Like and Joby Harold's in both of those. So I think it's a good example.
Wasn't this something that Lindelof pitched to Lucasfilm though?
And that right there is is the big difference, and that's why I would think. But like in his version, Rey's old, and this one she's like in her 30s, right, or something like that, or 35-ish. So but that doesn't change the actual like plot, unless it was about like Rey's like hip breaking or something, and you know, like needing Medicare or something like that's not a problem. So I don't think So I think he will have a credit. I would say almost for sure, unless if for some reason he was like, I don't want it. I don't think he would. Why would you do that? I don't know why you would, but there's always a chance, you know, maybe they bastardized your concept and your thing so much you are offended. Then maybe you could just say, I don't want the credit. You know,
now he's offended after all the jokes on Lost.
Oh, come on, guys. I was just kidding around. When I fired you from Lost for being a black guy who didn't want to be a stereotypical black guy, I was just playing around. But that whole thing was so fucked. I mean, you know, hopefully all of those people involved in that find atonement. You know, that's after I read that book, that was sort of where I was at. I was like, I hope all these motherfuckers find atonement. You know.
I give him credit for at least, you know, taking the fire and being in the book. Yeah, I mean,
25 Helens agree that if you put him in a room to write a Star Wars movie, it will have Luke as a Superman, Super Jedi baby thing, and Mara Jade, and
Jesus Christ,
Barriss Offee, and Crimson Dawn. What else we got?
So
Maximals.
I like Skywalker's Academy's idea of Zack Snyder's Watto's Moon. There we go. But
dude, that trailer looked pretty bad. I was talking to my buddy. Who's a big fan of Larry Fong, the cinematographer on most of his stuff from 300 on up, right?
Okay.
But Zach started doing his own like DP for like those Netflix movies, and you're just like,
oh yeah,
he's doing it. And you're like, dude, everyone keeps telling him he's an artist because he thinks he can draw. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, Zach, you can't draw. And like I've seen his storyboards, clever. So,
but did you guys know that in the 90s he was Zach the Legomaniac on the commercials? Most people don't know that, but that's a real
I did know
true
that.
fun fact.
I won a free drink at the Scum and Villainy on that one that night. What?
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
All right, this one right here from Bestman Bulletin relates into what you guys were joking about a little bit ago. Pedro Pascal supports Bo-Katan becoming the lead in Star Wars Mandalorian. And so the third season of The Mandalorian concluded 2 months ago and saw Katie Sackhoff's Bo-Katan Kryze take a larger role in the series. Now the series' leading man, Pedro Pascal, has come out in support of Bo-Katan Kryze being considered the lead in the most recent season. You could give him a coffee or become a Patreon supporter of Bestman if you like his articles. During an in-depth interview with Variety, the topic of The Mandalorian was brought up by the outlet, with the interviewer discussing Lucasfilm and Disney's campaigning for Katie Sackhoff as the lead of The Mandalorian Series 3 on the awards circuit. The interviewer asked Pascal, who's been in the first build star of the series since its release in 2019, how he feels about that, with his character Din Jaren sharing the spotlight with Sakov's Bo-Katan, with Pascal himself being regulated to voice work with his season due to his hectic schedule. Pascal champions Bo-Katan taking center stage. That's not how you spell center, you fucking, this is America, damn it.
Centra.
This is America. Come on. In the Mandalorian's third season, telling Variety that as a fan of the Bo-Katan character in Dave Filoni's animated series, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, it's what he wants for that character. You could read Pascal's quote below. Pascal says, "I support me on Patreon." He does? Oh no, that's how you can support Bestman. Here's the quote.
I support me on Patreon.
It was
Petty then too.
It was great in that it also comes into a full realization, and he spelled realization wrong again, a full realization of a beloved character that is from the world of Dave Filoni, if you know, Bo-Katan. Din Djarin is a creation that starts with combining the worlds of Star Wars. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni introducing his character through the live action, The Mandalorian, and then creating the opportunities of pooling references and live action characters from Dave Filoni's beloved animated series. Sure.
Every time you say Filoni, I take a shot.
All right.
Say it
All
again.
Right. Filoni. Sure, everyone gets to kind of experience the excitement of the character Bo-Katan being introduced. And she's badass, and it's perfect casting. I'm a big Battlestar Galactica fanboy. I own the DVDs. I still can't think of anything that has a better intro than Battlestar Galactica. Just the thrill of that drum beat and showing you what's going to happen, but throwing your scent off what's going to happen in the episode. You know what, Pedro? They fucking started it saying that the Cylons had a plan, and they fucking didn't, man. They burned me hard. They burned me.
It was a Favreau plan. It was going to last like 5 to 6 seasons. It's going to become 8 different shows.
You know what it was? It was another example of the auteur theory being fucking bullshit.
The plan was written by JJ.
They didn't know.
That's
yeah.
why.
They're just making
it up. We call that auteurism. It's just not
auteurism.
True. It's not good. Yeah, we like to, we all spell
dark auteurism.
That's not what I meant. I didn't mean that legitimately. That's not what I meant.
I remember.
I don't want Jim Perry is gonna fucking chest. That's not what I meant. I'm sorry.
I don't even know who that is. Okay.
Filoni's still having his birthday. Shit, I can't get out of this. Hold on.
Okay, it's Filoni's birthday. I remember Dave Filoni talking to me about the possibility of casting the voice actor in the Bo-Katan role. And I was like, Katie Sackhoff, you got to do it. And so anyways, I think it was perfect that we get to meet and see the character, and she gets to do all the cool shit in the second season and then take center stage in the third. And that's what I would want for the character as a fan of the Clone Wars. So, as far as it goes, it's kind of interesting that Pedro knows the Clone Wars, to be honest with you. That's kind of interesting. Cool. He did the research. So anyways, the topic of Sackhoff's Bo-Katan having a prominent role in the third.
To be fair, they locked him in a room, made him watch it. Like the trailer.
Like Clockwork Orange. They got his eyes
No, it was either that or you have to go put you had to take your helmet off. And he was. I'll watch the cartoon. I'm gonna take my helmet off.
I've known of people who have got roles in Star Wars who don't know it, and they make you like a little supercut. Here's everything that pertains to you, and they give you that.
Can I get that job? The guy who makes a supercut.
That sounds fun, right? I would want that job.
Yeah.
I think that person also has to transcribe the podcast sometimes, though.
Of course, I hate the cartoon, so
I was gonna say, Rob, you wouldn't be good at that job. You'd have to actually
Damn it! Can I get that job before the cartoon came out? Like,
no.
Oh no, because then there's the prequels. Oh, hey, can I get that job like in the 80s? Like,
why are you even here, Rob? All right, now. The topic of Sackhoff's Bo-Katan having a prominent role in the third season of The Mandalorian, being at times a co-lead alongside Din, was a bright spot of a middling season for me personally. The arc of Bo-Katan and Katie Sackhoff's performance were, without a question, some of the highlights of the season I found somewhat disappointing. Naturally, Bo-Katan...
It was a great theme song, though, right, Jason?
Yeah, it was okay. Naturally, Bo-Katan taking up a much larger role in the third season upsets a portion of the fan base. It's not a modern Star Wars project unless there's a subsection of the fandom being upset with something, especially when it comes to female characters having larger roles in a male-led project. So with that in mind, It's great to see Pedro Pascal, the frontman of the hit series, defending the direction in which the third season chose to take and supporting the spotlight which Kreese shared with Jaron to me. As a fan of both Clone Wars and Rebels, and with those series being so interconnected with The Mandalorian, it felt completely natural and deserved for the character of Bo-Katan to have such a prominent role in the third season and for her story to evolve and end up where it did. And I'm glad somebody like Pascal sees and champions it. It's unlikely that Bo-Katan will have a significant role in The Mandalorian Season 4, as the character did in Season 3, with the end of the latest season seemingly setting up a focus on Din and Grogu going on adventures, likely more akin to the style of The Mandalorian's first season, but of course with bigger narrative being developed in the background. It's also unlikely Pedro Pascal will be available for most of the production due to the busy schedule once again. The actor is due to start filming the sequel to Ridley Scott's Gladiator this summer, before shooting a horror movie, Weapons, later this year, and concluding the year with the production starting of The Last of Us Season 2, which will pick up most of Pascal's 2024. Yeah, the strikes might
I don't think they're
going
to have the scripts for that one.
Well, if SAG strikes, he won't be able to be in anything anyways. So either.
Sure.
The Mandalorian Season 4 was due to begin filming in late September at Manhattan Beach Studios. Unfortunately, production has been delayed until an unknown time due to the ongoing Writers Guild of America strike, which began on May 1st and currently does not have any end in sight. At this time, there seems to not be concrete idea as to when The Mandalorian can enter production, and a decision likely won't be made until the WGA and various Hollywood studios reach an agreement on a new contract that both parties are satisfied with. So, yep, that's the way it is. That's where we're at with it. But and I won't lie, I did like the season, but do I think it was an award-winning season? I don't. I don't think
the Razzies an award.
No, I don't. That's the Razzies. That's so stupid. I remember like, oh my god, that movie you like won a Razzie. You suck.
Hey, Halle Berry accepted a Razzie and an Oscar in the same year. So
yeah.
I'd rather win a Razzie than a Grammy. I mean,
I can't stand her storm, but I respect that woman. Right?
Yeah.
Wait, which Storm? The one with the accent or one?
Any of them. It's not Storm.
Are you talking about the soft drink with Qui-Gon Jinn on it from 1999 that was only sold in select markets? Storm energy drink? Okay.
Jason, your vast knowledge of dime store energy drinks is profound.
It's Star Wars, bro. I know it.
And explains a few things.
At Celebration 1, Pepsi gave out free drinks because it was a different world. And Storm was
this or extensive vape knowledge, but you chose energy drinks. I'm proud of you. Your liver's not proud of you, but I'm proud of you.
Hey. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Shogun. Shogun says, real quick, what didn't you like about the Rebel Moon trailer, Rob?
All right. Look, real quick, it looks like Disney Plus Dune. All right.
Okay.
Like, how about that? So if you want a slightly more like artistic answer to this, he's no Larry Fong. Larry Fong brought an artistry to the visuals that like Zack Snyder would like to sort of make comic books look like films, right? Or films look like comic books, like with 300, Watchmen, Sucker Punch looks like a heavy metal thing. The scripts are horrible. I'm not telling you I love the stories, but
wait, there were scripts?
He needs to stop. He needs to stop writing his movies, and he needs to get Larry Fong back. He had a look that worked. That's the word. I mean, BVS. I'm not looks fantastic. Like the color palettes and stuff. But like. I don't want to get
it's what's inside.
The Vegas thing doesn't look good. It looks like a Netflix movie.
Yeah, it's more the David Lynch Dune, not the Dennis Villeneuve Dune.
It's more like the Sci-Fi Channel, Dune if it had a modern budget. It's not, it's just. I'm sorry. You know what? I like the look of JJ Star Trek movies. I don't like the look of Star Trek 3. Star Trek 3 looks like First Contact or a TV show as a movie. There is an artistry.
When you say Star Trek 3, do you mean the new Star Trek 3 or the old Star Trek 3?
Star Trek Beyond or whatever the hell it was called. Yeah.
there's an artistry to the cinematography that's you can say you don't like the fucking flares. I don't care. They look cinematic. It looks cinematic. The third one looks like a TV show shot as a film.
Yep.
Like half the Marvel movies look like TV shows turned into films. Like,
And I mean,
they
that's
don't have an artist-
budgetary.
yeah.
I don't think that was an artistic choice.
No, that's not budgetary. That's that
You don't think so?
Some DP, some people are artistic, some people aren't.
Well, I mean, that's what you get when you don't get Roger Deakins or
When-
an
when-
eighth grade.
When you have Larry Fong and you get rid of Larry Fong to do it yourself, then you're going to get criticized.
Was
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Forrest Gump
Jeez, yeah,
artistic?
shit.
Huh?
He was Forrest Gump. He's artistic, right? Come on, come
Jason,
That's a
on.
spectrum.
there-
Yeah.
Jim Perry,
No.
he's already mad at me. You know,
Okay.
it's just, you know, I.
But he did
Let's
go to
not go there.
space. He went to space.
Let's not go he did go to sweat. That's that. We didn't write that book.
Bestman says you'll get to see Storm again next year.
Yeah, look, I've accepted that that's the Fox Storm, and I can't wait till we move on one day.
Mhm.
But the only reason why Angela Bassett wasn't cast at the time was because old Tim Rothman, CEO of Fox at the time, the guy
yeah.
who's currently running Sony, thought she was too old.
And I feel that Angela
So-
Lansbury also wasn't cast as Storm because she was too old.
Meanwhile, Angela Bassett just fucking got an Oscar nomination for Wakanda Forever. So I'm just saying. you
And
know,
Angela
like-
Lansbury totally gave us like Poker Face and all of these great mysteries that we're loving today, you know?
and in that cast, you could have had someone who was a little closer to Patrick Stewart's age than Famke Janssen and
Angela Lansbury. thank you.
emo Cyclops and all the other kids in that movie. You know?
Lansbury. We're on the same page 100% today, Rob. Today, you and I are
Why
seeing
wasn't-
eye to eye.
Well, yeah, I'm glad she was in Knives Out. Would have been great if we could have got her in Poker Face, but she passed away, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think she was killed by the Illuminati because they didn't want her to be Storm because somebody else is Storm and she's in the Illuminati. You know what I mean? See where I'm going with it?
Yeah. Now
I'm not
she's
gonna say it.
Angela Land's buried.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Too
true.
soon? I love her.
Yeah. I find by the way, like Baymax says, thank you for being a channel member. As always, Baymax. I
Hearts.
appreciate it, everybody. And
99.9% of it.
No, that is hyperbole. That is memory. That is how you've chosen to remember something. A lot of it
Yes, that's exactly how I remember it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
But that's not. No, the problem is that those moments happen and then they go back to them. That's the problem. Like
Keep happening though.
Yeah,
Kenobi
the
more
only
than
thing
Book
that was
of Boba
movie
Fett.
quality on that were the credits. I mean, it was
No,
Hey, no,
it's not
those
that
exterior-
bad.
Book of Boba Fett at least
bad.
had
It's
no.
really
Book of
bad.
Boba Fett has way better visual effects than Kenobi, dude.
1,000%.
Kenobi Sci-Fi Channel.
No,
Yeah,
when,
it's not
when
even
you
close.
when you get into
Very
like
close.
no, but like I mean I'm agreeing with you, but what it is it's when you hit those really like that fucking like Rokin's base, the set, that is dog shit. That is dog shit level,
Yep.
like set, like design
Mhm.
and everything about it is not good. It doesn't work. And then we sit there and we sit down in it and we just exist for some time. But then all of the good work gets forgotten, and that's the shit.
What was the good work?
yeah. Refresh my
guess
memory.
with
Was
the-
it the gravel
the-
pit that they fought around?
I guess the
No,
the,
but no,
the
but
Cyber
that's-
City. The Cyber
that's-
City was cool. Had some cool shots.
I mean, not.
I mean,
all
it
of
had
the-
no wind or wet streets or atmosphere or anything to speak of, but you know, it had a lot of cyber stuff.
Hey,
And it had
buddy,
a
if you
dinosaur.
want wet streets,
Yeah, it's
maybe
dinosaur.
you wear that thong out in public next time. Okay.
Huh?
Yeah,
You
you
brought
heard
me
me.
on set. You with
You
a
heard me.
dinosaur puppet, you're gonna get some wet streets. I'm just letting you know. Yeah, making wet streets. That's what we're gonna call this show.
But
Sorry.
but where I'm going to meet everybody in the middle is when you do go and you do really good work and then you do really fucking just like cheap, lazy, subpar, inexpensive work. That's all that's all anybody remembers about it. So it doesn't. At the end of the day, you might as well make it for $10 or don't.
Yeah.
Like, but you need to like really do one or the other. I don't think it makes as much sense to
Yeah.
like on because some of the stuff on Kenobi isn't cheap.
Well, I
And
think
a
it
lot of
was.
is.
I think it was a combination of the bad effects and the shitty story. I mean, just the
99%
Joe
every time
Brady.
Vader was on screen, it looked like shit.
yeah, and
That's a real problem. If
or-
Vader can't make your if you fuck Vader up, you got problems, bro.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's like a lot of the stuff. If like less is more, like I always the thing I always harp on is you see Darth Vader sitting in his throne, which should be a rad thing, but his like dick piece is like fucking up to his neck, and then you see him like get up, and then you're just like looking at his dick, like get your dick out of my face, Darth Vader, you know? And it's all awkward.
Jason. It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor, yeah. It's saying we all know he got his dick burned off, and we are acknowledging it. You might not want to confront it, but we are totally like that happened, you guys. But oh no, I saw Dave Filoni's little forehead pop up for a second.
Someone said feet.
Oh no.
I just want you to know we like to call it a metaphors in the old Lucas house. That's what
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what it's like, George?
Yeah. Huh.
It's just like Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull up until the third act. When you watch that fucking movie, like it's an Indiana Jones movie, really good Indiana Jones movie until like the third act, but some people are like just the fridge is the whole thing. Like one gag out of like 75 gags that go on in that Indiana Jones movies are just gags chain linked together, and that one gag they just feel like breaks and if it does breaks it for you, I don't care. You feel how you feel at this point, but it's like but that's all that those people remember. They don't remember the other good parts. Are you a teacher? Part-time. Fucking great. Anyways, what are you like 80? And then now he is. No, I'm kidding though. But
yeah, you're welcome.
Shia LaBeouf killing dogs. Name is Mutt in the movie. That's hilarious. That's life making a funny joke.
That's meta. Yeah,
that's life making a funny joke. I mean, he has some hatred towards that character because that's what I think.
He cuts through him like butter.
Oh no, George.
What?
No, George.
Don't
do it.
All right,
don't do it, George.
Look, I don't really put acts in my scripts. I just write freehand. I do like Sister Act though, specifically 2. I don't like the first one, but the sequel.
Yeah.
Big fan. All right.
Well, I'm
amazing.
back in the Habit fan too, though, George. So I'm with you on that one. Sister Act 2 is better than Sister Act 1.
I'm really glad you're all gonna not see this movie next week.
Indiana Jones.
Appreciate that. Oh yeah. Don't.
Well, we're only doing it as support for you because they didn't use all of your ideas. You know.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Indiana Jones and the gets up to pee at 2 a.m.
Indiana Jones and the large prostate.
Hey, well, Indiana Jones needs more fiber. That's what I've been told. All right, I gotta go. I gotta go play Fortnite.
Eat more Raisin Bran, George. Eat more Raisin Bran.
All right, whatever. Big Fortnite.
Right.
Oh shit! Look at that face. Look at that jaw.
Look at that. Look at that. Man.
He's like the kid. He's like the kid on Boy Meets World. Just got real angry. Right?
You know what Mangold looks like? If you fed Francis Ford Coppola after midnight and got him wet.
I literally could do a whole show on this, Jason. You have no idea.
All right. So RobessaBolton.com. James Mangold.
Joe Dante, it's all true. It's all true. That line, it's all true. It means, don't feed Francis after midnight.
After midnight. James Mangold confirms he was previously developing a Boba Fett movie despite Kathleen Kennedy's past denials. So there we go.
Means gold. I like it.
Means gold.
I like it. Means gold.
He means what he says. Yesterday, The Hollywood Reporter released a large article focusing on director James Mangold and his upcoming movie Indiana Jones and the Dial Disaster. You see what I did there, guys?
Oh shit!
This piece. You like that, George? You like that? Yeah.
Like it's too good, Jason.
Too good. Yeah.
You just now came up with that.
He kind of goes a little bit like a Muppet when he gets really happy.
He gets crazy. Yeah. I love it. Dude, you gotta go rewatch the Muppets from 2014, man. Every fucking episode holds up. Every episode. There's a North Korea joke. It is the best Muppets since the original show.
Pepe make that show. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
You might want an audiobook
Don't care.
down?
However they got there, I accept it. Like,
no. Oh no, don't say that. Don't say that.
Equivalent exchange. Someone has to suffer for art, Jason. Someone has to suffer, and I accept this one. Like,
no. But anyways, no. But if you're into that. If you're into that, you're into Lost and you're into Star Wars, that book is definitely interesting.
Really, it just says ABC had some issues. All right. It's really ABC TV. But I gotta tell you, that Muppet Show is great, man.
Yesterday, the Hollywood Reporter released a large article focusing on director James Mangold and his upcoming movie, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. This piece is filled with interesting tidbits focusing on the film's production, his past work, and even those in his future. But there was one piece of information that stood out to me. Mangold acknowledging and seemingly confirming past rumors that he was working on a Boba Fett film. Before we continue with the news of the day,
remember when I said that and then you told me that wasn't true?
Well, here's the thing: is they denied it.
Told me that wasn't true.
No, okay. I never said Jason Ward in telling you James Mangold never worked on.
I was right again. I was right.
I never said that. Actually. Rob, before you start celebrating,
it's the summer of Rob. It's the summer of Rob.
Before you start celebrating your like fake win, there is actually a real win in this for you, and that's we were talking a few weeks ago about would Mangold's movie be delayed because of the writer strike, and I was like, well, it's an indie movie, maybe it's been written well in advance, and like he had to submit final scripts to get funding and stuff. Maybe it was already written. The article seems to kind of make it sound like it's probably gonna not make its start date because
it's not going to work.
Yeah. So though there's no direct quotes from Logan director discussing his Boba Fett movie in any depth, there's a one-line quote in the article where James Mangold confirms he more than flirted with working on a Star Wars movie in the past. But that's the important part though. More than flirted. It's like, that could mean like a treatment. It doesn't necessarily mean he wrote a script,
Yeah.
But
at least a pitch, right? Maybe a sizzle reel, right?
Yeah, it did sound like based
Took
off
him to the crab hut. They take the crab and they put it on the table. That's a Mangold kind of place. And he eats it with his hands, and he tells them about the Boba Fett. He just breaks into the shells and shit.
If the trades had something to report, it's probably a development deal. Is probably what ended up happening. But with working in a Star Wars movie in the past, with the article itself detailing that Mangold had previously been developing a Boba Fett film several years ago that would have been a one-off, likely a Star Wars story release akin to Rogue One and Solo. And the flick was described as a spaghetti western in the vein of Sergio Leone, a highly decorated Western filmmaker responsible for classics including the Dollars trilogy. Mangold confirming his involvement with a Boba Fett film comes as a surprise, as in 2021, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy told Empire magazine, James Mangold never worked on a Boba Fett story. So
I remember this. I remember this.
Yeah.
And then I remember it being covered up quicker than the Phoenix Lights, quicker than that. And they got that one. They're like, no one talks about the Boba Fett movie.
I'm not going to fucking justify her fucking recent like double speak on every fucking bullet point.
Everything.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the point of not just coming out and saying, yeah, he worked on it? I mean, what's the controversy in just coming out and saying it?
Here's what it is when you have Robert Rodriguez making a Boba Fett series, it's going to be loved or it's going to be hated or it's going to be both, and people are going to take a perspective. If you go and you say James Mangold worked on a Boba Fett series, then now you have a phantom made up project that is golden and 5-star film no matter what, that people will like rally behind.
We already have that with Josh Trank's movie. Because he was doing a Boba Fett movie. Joe Johnston wanted to do a Boba Fett movie.
I suspect you're being sarcastic, James.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not saying I wanted to see it. I'm just saying it could have happened. It might have happened.
A Capone movie, that was going to win an award.
Yeah, right.
So it was reported in 2018 by the Hollywood Reporter that James Mangold was set to write and direct an untitled Boba Fett film for Lucasfilm following the departure of Chronicles' Josh Trank 2 years earlier. The report at the time detailed that Mangold was co-writing the Boba Fett flick with Simon Kinberg. writer of various X-Men films,
the
including
Joby Harold of 2004.
X-Men
Right?
Dark Phoenix, and X-Men Apocalypse, along with being a producer of Star
Triple
Wars
X2.
Rebels. Kinberg and Mangold had previously collaborated on the critically acclaimed and Oscar-nominated Logan, which Mangold wrote and directed, with Kinberg on board as a producer. At the time, well, but also remember that like when this was going down, this is when Solo fucking crashed.
Right. Yeah.
This is when Kenobi was canceled as about the time Kenobi was then killed as a film and destined for television.
Well,
so
man, Jar Jar.
And this is probably what happened. This is probably what happened to the Mangold.
When did the Boba Fett one get killed though? It was before.
It was in 2018 that it was announced. Let me see if he has. Okay, so hold on. I'll open up the link from the Hollywood Reporter and tell you what the date was.
Yeah, that timeline doesn't sound right because Josh Trank's thing.
Check it out.
Check it out. Back.
May 24th, 2018, the week of Solo: A Star Wars Story, basically. So they were
had
like
Boba Fett come out.
Oh, and hold on.
What food tie-in would have had? Jimmy John's? What do you think?
When I was at the Kenobi premiere, I'm sorry, at the Solo: A Star Wars Story premiere, Ewan McGregor was there. A friend at Lucasfilm comes over to me and says, "You know why he's here?" I'm like, "Why?" They want the photos for when they announce the film in a couple of weeks. And so you were gonna have Solo be a big success. They're gonna say, everyone, don't worry, guys. Kenobi is coming. The Kenobi: A Star Wars Story is coming. We already have the next one lined up. You guys don't have to worry. We got you. The movie fucking tanks.
Spreezy made the floors wet.
And then Spreezy with his tears. With his tears.
Oh, right, with his tears. Right.
So
James, nothing was more fun than watching him get so excited and then just demolished with that every week, just a little bit more crushed to the point where he stopped coming on the show for like a year.
Well, the best part was watching him eat that Taco Bell after he lost the bet.
He never. Oh, I know, right? He doesn't keep his bets.
Can I be? Can I be the Australian Taco Bell Christ and just eat some Taco Bell for him? Can I die for his sins?
No, you're supposed to be losing weight.
I know, but can I die? Actually, you know what? Taco Bell, not that bad.
You're gonna be ripped. You're gonna be like Mangold size here in a year. Then you can eat the Taco Bells, right?
All right.
But then we can ruin it. Like that'd be fun.
No, Rob, the tie-in for the Boba Fett movie is easy. Boba tea.
There we go.
That's a food. It's not a place. Like James, come on.
I don't like.
There are Boba places. I mean, maybe not out in your neck of the woods and wherever. Montana.
Brother, I know you think us racist, Trump-loving hillbillies don't have access to boba, but a lot of Californians moved here. We got it. We got boba tea, bro. we got the Gray Fox. We got Boise boba. We got phenomenal. Right? Guess we can get there. Guess we can get at the phenomenal.
I want mine to be called fuck you. Come on, let's do it. All right,
I tried that. I tried that, but you have to do happy, fuck you, or it doesn't count.
And the premium. Q stands for quality, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's not who showed up. It's a bunch of Jordan Peterson wannabes.
There's a place in Florida called My Fucking Dinah.
There's a Faux King in every county in Southern California, James. All right, I can assure you this.
All right. Kinberg and Mangold had previously collaborated on the critically acclaimed and Oscar-nominated Logan, which Mangold wrote and directed, with Kinberg on board as a producer. At the time, Lucasfilm were focusing on releasing the Star Wars sequel trilogy and were developing various Star Wars anthology films. At the time of the report, Lucasfilm had only released Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, but were gearing up to release the commercial failure Solo, and were developing other anthology films such as Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi, but at the time had Stephen Daldry set to direct. Kathleen Kennedy told Empire in 2021, ahead of the release of the Disney Plus series, The Book of Boba Fett, that there was virtually no previous development on a Fett flick with Josh Trank, who was set to be announced as a director of Boba Fett film at Star Wars Celebration in 2016, but was pulled last minute and let go from the project. In the same interview, Kennedy agreed that James Mangold never worked on a Boba Fett idea, but the latest piece from THR seems to contradict the quote from Lucasfilm president. The contradiction follows another from earlier this year where Kathleen Kennedy claimed that Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige and Lucasfilm never discussed an idea for a Star Wars film, and that the reports of Feige developing a Star Wars film was only announced by the press and fandom, despite Disney's chief creative officer Alan Horn confirming Feige was developing an untitled Star Wars movie in September 2019 with Loki writer Michael Waldron confirming last year that he was writing Feige's Star Wars flick, and
he did.
Directing duo the Russo brothers recently confirming that Feige had previously approached them to direct his Star Wars project. Feige's project has since been scrapped. So there really and once again, just to play devil's advocate, she's probably just talking out her ass, but to play devil's advocate, there's a chance that it when that story was announced initially, that was like put out there by Disney and Alan Horn. It wasn't an official Lucasfilm announcement. She probably wasn't on board for it, and they probably made her do it. So as far as she's concerned, it didn't happen. It never fucking happened. That's my guess.
Yeah, that's like I'm not gonna say this, but you ever see Monster Squad?
Yep.
When they're looking for a virgin,
Wolfman has knowledge,
she
bro.
says, but that one time didn't count, right?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying, Jason?
Yeah.
Is there nothing Monster Squad can't teach us? I don't think so.
You know what, Kathy? Maybe you should have directed Monster, or she should have produced Monster Squad, and maybe you know that. During the
Wolfman's got nards.
During the latest THR piece,
Mangold too.
I said THX. Mangold recounts Kennedy approaching him during the production of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, asking if he still retained an interest in developing a Star Wars movie. Mangold notes that he did, but at the time, Lucasfilm were looking to continue forward with their stories, likely a reference to the untitled Rey Skywalker movie directed by Charmin Obey-Chinoy. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Indiana Jones, because that's where he ends up having that conversation with Ford when they're I don't know if people know this, but Mangold, that fucking wolf movie, that CGI wolf movie that Ford did?
Teen Wolf?
No, it was a few years ago. It was like just a shitty movie. Mangold came on to try to save that movie. He Tony Gilroy'd that shit.
Okay.
And that's when Ford and him started working together, and that's how he ended up getting a really good relationship with them for Indiana Jones. Anyways, so but Bespin thinks maybe it could have been the Rey Skywalker movie, and possibly now indefinitely delayed Star Wars Rogue Squadron, which was to take place after the sequel trilogy. Mangold told Kennedy that no, it was a movie when they were talking
series.
About it. No, it's a movie.
About it yesterday's series.
Movie. Mangold, but I also think that that's probably also maybe not likely, perhaps, because I think that it was a pitch from the director. Anyways, Mangold told Kennedy that he wanted to visit the past and create a film that focused on the 10 Commandments, the discovery of the Force, and the creation of the first Jedi. The project was announced at Star Wars Celebration in April this year and was described as the Dawn of the Jedi. In the THR article, Kennedy states that Mangold will begin writing his untitled Star Wars flick once the Writers Guild of America strike is over, with THR adding that James Mangold won't turn his attention to a Star Wars movie until he has completed work on the upcoming Bob Dylan biopic, A Complete Unknown, which Mangold has been working on since before stepping on board to write and direct Indiana Jones on the Dial of Destiny in 2019. A Complete Unknown is due to begin filming in August, but filming could be delayed due to the aforementioned ongoing WGA strike. However, despite Mangold being prohibited from working on Star Wars projects due to the strike and his complete unknown schedule, James Mangold already has a basic treatment laid out in his head, according to Kennedy.
Mind maps, Jason.
Well, I mean, and once again, this is one of those kind of ideas where you're like, oh yeah, so these people. No, these people are discovering the Force. So I think there's like two ways they could take that story, right?
It's a chick named Dawn. She becomes a Jedi.
You end up with a bunch of random. You end up with a bunch of rando people using the Force for good and evil, just with absolutely no organization, and the galaxy's in chaos because of it. Therefore, they have to. Therefore, they need to come up with sort of a fucking My Hero Academia. To bring everybody together and put some rules down for how the superpower is going to be handled. Or you do it where it's like the first person who's like, what is this thing I'm sensing, and starts using it, and somebody else does it, and then you have a good and an evil. Therefore, then the
what if
drum
it's
spots.
what if it features an Ewok and it's just called the Prince of Endor? Can
I'm
we do
in.
that?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
First
It's-
Jedi
By
was
the
a
Rise of
little.
Skywalker.
My review is one word: sin dull. Yeah, not good. Boring. Okay. All right, here we go. So
Does the first Jedi know Barriss Offee? Is that
no,
possible?
no,
No?
they
That's
won't.
his
They won't touch
great
it.
great 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 grandmother.
Oh, okay.
Barrett was my favorite character. Fuck
Yeah,
guys.
but the plot holes between worlds thing, you can do that, right?
Yeah, there you go. See,
Jesus,
yeah.
right?
Wolfman has
It's like
nards.
poetry. It rhymes.
Okay.
Brian, Wolfman has nards. Wolfman has.
I like the dog. So good. Wolfman has nards.
Yeah.
Like the
So,
dog.
so Jason, going back to the whole Boba Fett thing, isn't it possible that because Trank was fired like pretty early on in
Trank,
that development, is
Trank
it
was
possible that they wanted to do a Boba Fett movie and they went to Mangle and said, "Hey, we're thinking about doing a Boba Fett movie. Are you interested?" And he said, "Yeah," and that's as far as it got. That they
Well, you
offered it
can
to
hear
him,
him
but
talk
then
about
it
it.
just got canceled before they ever got started.
James, you can hear him talk about it a little bit with he was
Who?
on at the Josh Trank. There was the
Yeah.
weekend right before Fantastic Four came out. He was on
Yeah.
Kevin Smith's podcast when it was
Yeah.
called Fat Man on Batman, and
Mhm.
they talked a little bit about the Boba Fett thing there.
Right. So obviously that was in
Well-
development. They fired him off of that. And then
I-
maybe they're like, we still want to do it. We need somebody else. Hey, Mangold, do you want to do it? And he said, yeah, when I'm freed up or whatever.
I had
And then it got canned in between that.
So I had two sources. I had one on the Fantastic Four film, and one at
So
Lucasfilm
sorry.
when that was
Is he,
when that was happening.
is he
And
recovered from his alcoholism from
no,
working on
and
that?
they were being like really cagey about it, and they were saying like, yeah, like he's just fucking, he's like literally smoking weed on the set. He's like literally just took a piss in the corner, like just does not care. And like there was stuff saying like that he shit and stuff, but I think then later on it was reported it was just dogs. I don't know, I have no idea, right? But at the end of the day, like Lucasfilm saw when shit hit the fan with this guy, he buckled. He became a punk rocker and didn't give a fuck, or gave a fuck, but was just like, I'm gonna fucking make this bad for you. And then he had to show up every day, or they would take all of the credit away. Like Kinberg would get the credit or something weird. And then Kinberg had vouched for him or something. But then it's what's weird is like Kinberg ends up vouching for him and it goes bad, but then he ends up also vouching for him for Mangold, who's they've been lovely apparently. And so anyways, so they were like, yeah, they were like, and then I heard like, yeah, they're gonna like, they're not gonna do his movie, we don't think. And then when they were doing Star Wars Celebration, that 2015, around that time, they were supposed, they made two teaser trailers. One was Rogue One showing the Death Star above a jungle world, and the other one was just going to be like Boba Fett sort of just like standing there like looking like all tough and stuff. And they at the last minute, like everything started changing, and they didn't show the Boba Fett one, and they held that shit back. I would love to see that leak someday, but I've never seen it. But yeah, and so they pulled it, they pulled everything, and then so my guess is at that point they probably decided not to be in the Josh Trank business and threw out all of the ideas that were like related to him and all of that work. And then he probably comes aboard, and when he says that, like he has like a like treatments in his mind and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, when they have that's the only fucking truth they said today, Rob. Of all of the stuff, the thing that you're
I know, but I just love that that's real too. I love it.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, it goes two ways. Like I don't like, you write in your mind well before you sit down, like at a keyboard.
100%. No, pre-visualization. I get it.
Yeah,
it's like
I just love
monkeys and
acting
1,000
like
typewriters. You start clacking away and hope it turns out. I mean,
yeah. I just like acting like the dude's a crazy person. It's fun. Like
Wait, so the Boba Fett, was that his idea that he pitched? I assumed that it was kind of like a fun thing. Somebody pitched it. They looked for a director. They got a director on board.
Well, what I'm thinking is they meet with Mangold. He's like, what would you do? and then he starts laying out what the tenets in his mind in that instance are, what would be a Sergio Leone like spaghetti
He
western.
did 310 to Yuma. He knows westerns.
Yeah, exactly. And so he like lays it out. And you do it with like Boba Fett, and they're like, that sounds like exactly what we want to buy.
I would think
And
it'd be
then-
like a Gareth Edwards type of thing, where somebody had pitched a story, they found a director that was good for that particular, because that's kind of the mode they were in at that point. Between Force Awakens, Rogue One, I mean, those guys were both hired to specifically handle projects that were already basically, they hired directors. They didn't hire writer directors. Even JJ, even though he got writing credit, he was not hired as a writer director. He was hired as a director. Michael Art was hired as the writer.
Mhm.
Gareth Edwards did not write Rogue One, or was not
No.
hired as a writer. So he was hired as a director to direct something that somebody else wrote. I imagine Mangold would have been the same thing. Hey, we've got this guy writing this Boba Fett movie. We want you to direct it. It's going to be a Sergio Leone type of movie.
It might with Mangold's more recent like output, it's a writer director thing for him.
Yeah, it has been. Well, I mean JJ too, but I mean again, they hired him as a director. Even though he had written before, he was not hired as a writer.
Yeah,
and Lucasfilm seemed to be of that mind. I mean, the thing that bucked that trend was Ryan Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Johnson was hired to be a writer director. He was the only one of the first 4 people they looked at that was
writer, hater, director. Right.
But like so like but look at what like the premise is though. It's for them. It's just a Boba Fett movie. Like Rogue One's like the idea, like, oh, how did they get the Death Star plans?
Well, did they have something? Did they have
from John Knoll, and then they start hiring like around that? But that right there isn't other than a character. So like Obi-Wan Kenobi, we talked about what the commonalities in every script would be, but like that was, we just want a Kenobi story. Who should we get to do it?
So you don't think there was a pitch for a particular type of story in the Boba Fett movie?
No. I do. Yeah. I think Lucasfilms. I think the difference between like Rogue One and Kenobi and Boba Fett was they were just like, we want to do it. We want to utilize the character.
Sure.
Whereas the other one was like an actual true premise, and then they brought in people like to like write the premise out and make it into like a fucking story. And so the Boba Fett thing, like I think it died and then was just like kind of lingering, like we really should do this Boba Fett thing. And the thing that I want to add is, when I was hearing about the Mandalorian, I heard that Favreau went in and with a Boba Fett pitch. And then they were like, actually, that's something that we already have like being worked on. And then we've learned that they said Dave is working on the Mandalorian stuff. So I think he just took all of his ideas for what Boba Fett would be and put them onto Din, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's all for the better now, because I mean, at least they can end Boba Fett in a high note now with Book of Boba Fett.
Well, then also I think Din is a better character than Boba Fett in actuality, though, which is kind of sucks. But also,
except Boba Fett can actually show his face. I mean, for the whole series, he never puts the helmet on.
Well, Din could just have a crisis of faith,
He just walks around with the helmet.
Yeah, I mean, you can show Boba Fett in a robe too, and a bacta tank for half a fucking season too.
But what was going to happen was if they had went and taken all of the old guys' ideas. The whole cool thing about Boba Fett is a man of mystery, and I never see his face. I don't know anything, and then they put him in Attack of the Clones, and now I hate him. Like, that was the fucking Gen X fucking babies would not shut the fuck up about it. So that's why we have this. Good work, fuckheads. Now we don't have Pedro Pascal, and because of your fucking minds. But anyways, Shogun Orta, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says the thing is, there's already somewhat hefty lore for how the Jedi were founded. Mangold might have to tread carefully still.
No, that shit's getting thrown out.
I told you.
Shit's already been
learned nothing, Shogun. I told you. They'll just change it.
I mean,
all this stuff is
all
this stuff is
canon.
When they want you to buy the comics and books, they tell you it's canon, and then they just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
That's
what that's the whole thing is like all of those. There's probably some good ideas in there. There's probably going to be that he may take. There's probably going to be some parallel thinking that goes on that he will take. And then then there's also a bunch of it that's just super obvious shit. That
Rob, if you want something to make fun of, that series he's alluding to has a flying Rancor with the name of Butch.
All right.
I'm not even fucking making that shit up.
But yeah, and like you know we don't like when he's talking about like when you hear Mangold though say things like the Ten Commandments and stuff like that, right? Well, what happens in the Ten Commandments? Moses leads the Jews through the desert
Kills all those
and
kids.
and parts the Red Sea and shit, and like they cross. You know what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
He kills the kids.
So when you keep saying this, when he keeps going to keep saying this, there's a couple of ways of looking at it though. But it might be about like, yeah, we have a bunch of these like little weirdos who have the Force, who have this thing, and they've been like treated as their own religion, and they're in exile. And maybe that story is about leading them out of exile, out of bondage, or something like that, on some place where they happen to be, into the larger galaxy. They're what the idea is, we can really shrink it down and make it very simple and dumb, but it could be huge. Like, and if it is that, and if he does, and if he pulls it off, then it's most definitely not going to be, even though it's being paid for, sold as a one and done. If he pulls off the first part of that, then they're going to go on to make Spartacus. They're going to go on to make all of those VistaVision films and the Star Wars thing. You know what I mean? With Mangold, for sure.
You like movies about gladiators?
Yeah. yeah, of course.
I let you have that one, James.
Thanks, appreciate it.
No, but I mean, you know what I mean. But that's what they will. But so, anyways, yeah. So him treading carefully. I think the treading carefully isn't about what's established. It's about the actually truly establishing of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Giving Boba Fett a face gave some fucking dudes a fucking panic attack in the fandom. No, it's why he does it, Rob. But when you go and you start nailing down the tenets of the Force, yeah. And Bestman says Mangold was, and thank you for the super chat, Shogun. Mangold says Mangold was hired as a director 3 years after Trank was fired. Yeah, exactly. It made the look at when it made the trades though. Is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
It made the trades on the week of Kenobi. I'm sorry, of Solo, and that's the week that they were also getting ready to. They were taking pictures of Ewan McGregor as Kenobi. So Solo's bombing killed a hell of a lot more things, I think, than we I think we know, but I think we could really quantify it a lot better today, is what I'm trying to say. And then Bestman says the article states in 2018, Mangold was hired 3 years after Trank to write and direct the Fett film before Solo bombed, right? And it was announced the week of Solo. So there we go. And then thank you for the super chat again, Shogun. Says, though that early Jedi lore might be considered EU and doesn't count, maybe. No, it is definitely considered EU. Everything that was published before about 2012, before any book before A New Dawn is going to be expanded universe or Legends material. Any comic book pre-Marvel of that same time is considered Legends. So that means it's stuff that can be honored if it was really good and they really like, they see opportunity there. And then it means that they're also not going to live and die by any of it. So yeah, and also when you get down into that like those stories though, it's never like from what I could remember, like when I was reading like those comics, like the Tales of the Jedi comics back in the day, it wasn't like overtly like this is the first guy, right? Or this is like the first like this is how it began. It was like alluded to, but it wasn't like you didn't really know, if I could remember right. I was like 12 when I read them, so forgive me on that. But I think this is going to firmly stay. This is Space Moses right here, and he's the first one to talk to God. Or what?
I think it's more like Space Jesus. He's kind of like the founder of the Jedi Order.
Yeah,
that's the way I'm taking it. This is the guy that starts off the order. Right.
So yeah, I mean, and also if you like those like stories, if this definitively says this is the first guy, you could view the timeline however you want.
Keep saying guy, it's gonna be a girl named Dawn. I'm telling you.
Dawn of the Jedi, dude, it's right there in front of our face the whole time.
I told you this.
Oh, you know where it takes place?
You think I'm joking?
Takodana.
You think I'm
That's
joking?
The planet.
And then this shit happens, and then you're like, what? Like,
yeah.
Not Concord Dawn.
Con.
What if he's a
Concord.
mafioso, like the Dawn
Dawn
of
of
the
Concord
Jedi? You
Dawn.
know.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the first intergalactic Jedi Mafia.
Dawn of Concord.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm the
Boo-boo
Dawn
face.
fodder. Yeah.
Yeah. Siciliana.
Yeah.
All right. Shogun Orda says they do their own thing with Founding of Jedi. Get ready for a split fan base again, maybe. And that's the thing is those books, dude.
Yeah.
The amount of comics and books published on that is not even as many people as watched the worst episode of the Clone Wars.
And it's not even a split fan base at this point. It's like a mirror shattered fan base. It's the 1,000 shards. So
yeah,
do whatever you want. I mean, it's the damage is done.
yeah.
Just make a good movie.
Will there be a group of like 10 or 15 like hardcore fans who cannot let it go and move on, or just like what they like and ignore it or whatever? 100%. It's a thing. It's a thing that we do instead of actually building identity and and building a personality. Is we take on things that we buy from corporations as if it's us, and then we see it as an affront on our very essence and being, instead of becoming actualized humans. And they want that from those people. They want them to see it, because those are people that will just continue to spend money until they become the cultist on the other side of their agenda. But that's what they want from you. And yeah, so will there be somebody mad? 100%. Without a doubt. But at the same time, the real actual numbers of people who read that, it's like think of it like in terms of Star Trek. Like this is like if Star Trek The Next Generation came out and said the original Star Trek never happened. This is just Star Trek, and that's all fake, right?
Well,
and
that's
then
what JJ did.
And then yeah, alternate dimension, right? He multiversed it. He multiversed it before it was cool. But
True.
but I'll give him credit where credit's due on that one. But no, but in doing so, that right there would splits the fan base. But in this instance right here, this imagine if only 100 or I don't know 75,000 people read the original Star Trek or saw the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal in the big picture.
No.
Considering the fact that Clone Wars episodes got like 4 million views at its peak.
Yeah.
It's like it's really small.
Right. Yeah, and I think like Heir of the Empire sold like 10 million copies. Total in its whole lifetime. I mean,
I thought about that like in the big picture though. I'm like, it sold 10 million, but every time a book is made, it's not like the Nazis show up and burn your book. So like a book can be read like by multiple people. Yeah. And so I do wonder like what is the true like Heir to the Empire like fan base. But when you look at when they re-released the book, like they did like that really nice copy with annotations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it sold like hotcakes. I don't think it was like oh, that one's hard to get. I don't think it's in its ninth printing right now or anything like that. So.
And doing good numbers for a book is like doing shitty numbers for a movie. It's not even close. I mean, it's a landslide in terms of the audience. You can't compare the two. The comics.
That's why Lucasfilm wanted to base all their stuff off the Hunger Games, because there's no money in it.
There you go.
Those books, right?
Jonesy says, Mangold has the balls to explore the beginning of the Jedi era. This will generate a lot more money than the Rey movie and other projects that people are fed up with. That's
I wish it were that easy to figure out. Like you have all the answers. You know how to make all the money. Sure.
Yeah.
It's like this, Jonesy. The internet is barely real. Is that's like the actual like truth. It's real when if you're mean to somebody on the internet, you're hurting another human, right? It's real. It's real, and as far as that goes, but it's not real as in everybody says, or this microcosm of a fan base looks like the bigger thing. Like, I'm sorry, I wear a Last Jedi shirt all the fucking time. I'm not a small guy, but I'm not the scariest guy. Nobody ever goes up to me and says, "You fucking cuck shill." That's never fucking happened in my life. I wish it would. It'd be hilarious. but it's never fucking happened.
He wore one to the RNC, and they didn't say, right, James?
Right. No, but I mean, but that's like the whole thing is like for the most part, like when you go to like Disneyland, all you will see are children running up to Ray to get pictures with her. And like I've been to Disneyland where she's walking down the street like fucking Willy Wonka, and all the kids are trying to get a fucking golden ticket behind her. It's that like that's like the reality of that character. Now, are there dudes that are like over the sequel trilogy or didn't like the movie? And just people, I shouldn't even say dudes, just people are like, I don't like the sequel trilogy. I want to move on from Ray. I'm good. What's next? Sure there are, but at the same time, I don't think that's like really the biggest deal. Now, in my perfect world,
I'm sort of in that camp.
We wouldn't.
I could not ever go back to it and not care one way or the other. You know.
Well, like I always
if
say,
they make a good movie, I'm not going to shit on it because it has some characters I didn't really care for. They can make them cool.
Right.
Well, but that's
awesome.
always what I say. It was like when for years there would always be some lady on the internet going like, Boba Fett's for fucking sexist men, and I don't fucking like it. All you bro buzz, fuck you, and I'm just like, you know what? If you don't like Boba Fett from the shit he's done, that show or that
bro
movie,
buzz,
yeah, that is the opportunity for it to be good. Though that's the whole thing. Is if you don't like what's come before and new people are using that thing to make something else, like if you like something before and new people are doing it, you should be well prepared. You might not like it now. If you loved Ray and it's not JJ and Ryan doing it, you might not like this Ray that Obey Chinoy brings to the table.
Not my Ray.
Yeah, not my Ray, bro. Not hashtag not my Ray. But no, but that's where we're at. Is opportunity is always fucking, or I should say, change is an opportunity
to Ray Bros.
Opportunity right? is an option where we might get improvement, and you might not, but it's always the possibility, and that's where when these projects are announced and if they do move forward and they do get made, Ray's best movie might be this next one. The movie that makes everybody fall in love with Ray. Like, look at the Mangold history with Wolverine. There's one Wolverine movie where people are like, I fucking hate that. I don't want you to do this ever again. And then there's another one where people are like, well, the new Indiana Jones movie is not as good as the fucking Wolverine movie. What? like it should be good like Wolverine. And you're like, what? You know what I mean? Like that's where it's at. Like, you can never fucking write off something because you didn't like something that happened in a character's other appearance. Just like fucking, it's like Batman. Batman's been in fucking probably 100,000 different published things or in media by this point.
A month.
A month. Yeah.
Comic shops.
No,
15 books in 1 month.
Yeah. No, and but that's the whole thing, is every single one of those was always an opportunity for the next great contribution to Batman and to be the thing that's like what everything should be like according to the fans. So that's where I'm like, yeah, are people gonna see the Ray movie and then be like, oh my god, it's Ray, and flock to it? I don't know if that's actually gonna truly happen though, that part. But what they are gonna see is fucking lightsabers. And once again, we also need to get real that the Ray movie, she may not be the actual main character, because we're going to have new protagonists coming aboard that are going to be her pupils. And those may actually, like, imagine if this is a different era. If Luke Skywalker had taken Ray and Finn on as Padawan, and that was episode 7, is Luke Skywalker going to be the main character in episode 7? Never was going to happen. That was never going to be the thing. So in some ways, because Ray's younger and still really attractive and still has a future, as a character and as an actor, I think that there's a good chance she's much bigger than Luke would have been. But there's also, in this instance, like, these new characters are probably going to be our leads, and she's probably going to end up sort of fading into the background as the stories, go on, I would think, because otherwise the characters don't have anywhere to go, any growth. And if she's supposed to be the teacher, well, how does a teacher succeed in a narrative? It's when they go to the spelling bee and then the kids spell correctly at the end. It's when it's to stand and deliver when they pass their test and prove that they weren't cheating. He got through to these kids. Like, what that kind of stuff.
Know about the times tables?
Jeez. Yeah, exactly. Or summer school. When Matt Harmon.
I'm telling you, that is that as soon as I can get AI to make a fan edit for me, it's going to be Summer School and Stand and Deliver. I'm telling you,
Of the mashup.
Stand and Deliver Summer School.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And can we just have Spicoli change schools that year too? Just why not?
Leah Thompson and Edward James.
Not Leah
Olmos.
Thompson. It's Courtney Thorne Smith. You
Can't
son of a
wait.
bitch.
Can't wait.
They don't even look the same.
In my AI edit, they will. You'll see.
Fucking. Who was the lady in the original Swamp Thing movie? The blonde lady?
Oh, Meg Foster.
Was that who that was? For some reason,
So you can't tell, can you?
For some reason, I thought.
So with the weird face.
No,
right?
I thought it was. I thought it was the one from Fall Guy.
They were all trying to find the next Sigourney Weaver. You know, they were just casting weird face ladies.
No, not even. That's not. No, you are face blind. You're an artist, and you're a very good artist, and it's weird how face blind you are. It's fucking weird, man. All right,
perms and weird faces. That's what they were doing.
Okay,
that was the pitch meeting they had. You know,
who does Helena Shaw look like to you?
Central casting. What? Oh, who she look like?
Yeah.
She looks like Wes Craven and John Carpenter trying to find the next Sigourney Weaver.
This guy. One track mind. He saw Sigourney Weaver in her underwear twice.
It's like a Natalie Portman, Tilda Swinton mashup there.
When the cans came out of the chair and grabbed her in Ghostbusters. And after that, everything's Sigourney.
None of them top Sigourney Weaver, I'm telling you.
So James this is from LMR Latino Review, LRM Online. James Mangold not interested in Helena Shaw indie spinoff. Kennedy won't rule it out. James Mangold is not interested in Helena Shaw indie spinoff. However, Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy won't rule it out. Mangold directed Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny, which hits theaters in July. It was Mangold and his writing partners that created the character of Helena Shaw, played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. However, when speaking with Variety recently, Mangold immediately ruled out any Helena Shaw spinoffs. I asked if he has talked with Disney and Lucasfilm and the potential Waller-Bridge to carry on the franchise. Mangold smiles and waves his hand dismissively. I'm not interested, he says. I refuse. I just can't do it. He gestures to the rules hovering just above his shoulder. The amount of lore and Easter egg and fan service starts to become antithetical to any of this, and at a certain point it isn't storytelling anymore, it's just large-scale advertising. So, and then Kennedy doesn't rule it out, but he
goes to make a Star Wars movie about the 10 Commandments. Okay,
you'll see a Willow sequel before you see a Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
We did see a Willow sequel.
A sequel to
12
the
episodes of it.
Yeah. No, we saw it. We're the only ones that saw it.
Yeah.
Jason
I didn't see it. Yeah.
I don't know. I like when they were doing Indiana Jones 4, like there was hope that Mutt would have a future and that it would continue on and stuff. And what he's saying right there, that is, whether he's lying or he's telling the truth, either way you cut it, that's smart politics. Because the rabid, insane people that have been making anti-Indiana Jones videos and Helena Shaw videos since they discovered that there was some vagina in the movie at all, they've been like, the vagina is going to come and it's going to take over Indiana Jones. It's going to replace him, just like the ladies are replacing us in our jobs. Those fucking babies would go and cry about it, right? So what he's doing right there is he's saying that was never my agenda. That's not on the table for me. That's not. I made an Indiana fucking Jones movie that's about Indiana Jones. So shut the fuck up and don't bother me about it. Like that's what I think is the sort of the subtext about it. Now, in reality, if they went to make a Helena Shaw movie, would he want to be in it, or would he do it? Did he invent the character outright? He might have. I think he probably did. And so maybe he would. And but I think right now that is the right answer, whether it's true or not. Right answer, 100%. And there's I want to thank Bestman Bulletin for sending me these tweets. I was gonna put them on the screen, but we were running so late that I'll just kind of like reference them. So that Indiana Jones video game that's supposed to be coming out,
Bethesda or BioWare? Who's making that?
Yeah, there's like a whole thing with Microsoft and the FTC going on right now. So Stephen Totio says The FTC lawyers asked Xbox's Matt Brody about emails he sent in 2019. Booty? Oh, Booty.
Yeah, it's even better.
FTC's lawyers asked Microsoft's Matt Bootyhole about emails he sent in 2019. No effing way, Bootyhole wrote at the time about bringing first-party games to competing services. This is presumably Exhibit K I wrote about earlier this week. Bootyhole tells Microsoft lawyer that was an old strategy. Okay, so this writer, and I suggest everybody read the article. I didn't read the original article. I only know what Bestman showed me because I'm lazy, and he's producer Bestman. I trust him. FTC questioning came after the lawyer brought up Bootyhole recommending in March 2021 that Bethesda's games he pulled from NVIDIA's GeForce Now. This was the month that the Bethesda acquisition closed. Microsoft lawyers set Booty up to point out they've since signed a GeForce Now deal. I believe that the deal Microsoft brokered to win regulatory approval for their Activision bid. So he's saying he believes they did the Microsoft that the deal Microsoft brokered was to win regulatory approval. If there was a Microsoft NVIDIA GeForce deal between 2019 and now, someone let me know. Not sure. And he goes on to say, FTC lawyer clarifies the NVIDIA deal was signed in 2023. So the FTC lawyer, not surprisingly, lists a bunch of games Obsidian and other Microsoft-owned studios had developed, pointing out ones in development pre-acquisition came to PlayStation. Those developed since are not planned for it. Booty said, decision on Outer Worlds 2, not made yet. Then here's the where we get to the main part that we care about. FTC lawyer questioning Bethesda's Pete Hines confirms that Disney had a deal for an Indiana Jones game that would be on multiple consoles. Hines confirms. FTC says deal was amended post-acquisition to be Xbox only for consoles. So that Indiana Jones game, they were pretending like it was going to be on multiple platforms, and it's Xbox only. So
yeah. I mean, look, this is why I bought an Xbox.
Yeah,
not just because of indie, or I mean, ultimately definitely not because of indie, but I'm a big fan of Double Fine Studios, and they bought Double Fine, and it's like,
right.
They had already said Tim Schafer, he makes fun of Booty's name a bit when they got bought out. And there's a documentary they were filming called Psych Odyssey about the making of Psychonauts 2. And when they sold to Microsoft, it's all kind of like that deal is all on camera. And he goes, "Look, it's Matt Booty. Booty. he's a man child. I love it.
Yeah,
I love Tim Schafer." But
Tim
was saying that,
but he didn't go so far as to call him a booty hole.
No, but he was making booty jokes. And
when people lie to the FTC's governmental organization, the government's the people. You're lying to us, man. Lying to us.
The wealthy people. So
fuck them. Yeah, that's true though.
But he was saying that Psychonauts 2 would be honored on all the platforms it was designed for. But after that, everything's going to be on Xbox. I mean, like, they could sit there and say, like, oh, no, we're not going to keep everything on a platform. Yeah, you are. Like, you honor whatever deals, but are you crazy? What's the point of they have a subscription service for games? Mm-hmm. If it's non-exclusive, there's no point to buying studios. They bought the studios for exclusive games, and right. Anything they say now is straight up lying.
But the government is saying you can't do that, and they're saying, okay, we won't do that.
Right, they're lying.
Don't notice, and then it's like, yeah. So,
lying.
And then when they lie, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I want the fucking Indiana Jones game. I have an Xbox. I'm great if it's on Xbox. Fine with me. That's where I'm going to play it. But at the same time, yeah, if they're going to lie and then they're going to make these monopolies, the consumers ultimately will lose in that. So fuck it, it's not worth it. That's where I fall on it. And yes, Willow was a turd in the pool, too far for Jason. Yes, I will not be getting back in that pool. That was all they could
turn on a slip and slide.
All they had to do, yeah. I mean,
you all see it coming, and you're like, maybe I won't hit it. And you're like, no, it's everywhere now.
No, it was honestly, it was nice that you called it a turd because it was diarrhea. It was diarrhea in the pool. There was no escaping it. Yeah, it was not for me.
As a true doesn't get that joke, Jason.
Well, I mean, Jonathan Kasdan's pretty confident there's going to be a season 2. Right?
And it's not canceled.
Yeah.
Even though they took it off fucking
They
Disney
Hey,
just-
you
Plus.
know
just take a
something?
vacation.
Matt Landis thought Bright was going to be his Star Wars. He tweeted
I remember that.
All
I
right.
remember that. Since deleted. Since deleted.
We all got ambition.
You know what? Every now and then I record something. I'm like, that's fucking great. And I expect the next time I'm like, ugh. So we've all been there. I just haven't been to the part where I got like a really rich dad who's killing people in helicopters in the Twilight Zone movies and shit. I don't have any of that going for me though at all. As it true says, a lot of people were saying Indy would not be an exclusive. But as it true says, a lot of people were saying Indy would not be an exclusive because Lucasfilm Disney. Well, this is proof that they don't care if they get paid. Obviously, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if they probably if they develop it and they buy it off of them, then that's all they care about, right? At the end of the day, that would be
Lucasfilm
Lucasfilm
and Disney have both put out exclusive games on video game systems since the dawn of video game systems.
Sure.
Like, I didn't see Lucasfilm putting out a Defenders of Dynatron City on fucking Sega Master System.
Wasn't
like,
wasn't the KOTOR remake supposed to be PS5 exclusive for like a timed PS5 exclusive for like a bit? I think it was going to be on
at least 12
PC
months.
PC, and it was going to be on PlayStation 5 for like a set amount of time.
I didn't see Rogue Squadron getting ported over to PlayStation back in the day.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why I didn't play it. As the truth says, KOTOR and the Marvel games are on PS5. People doubt that Mando Xbox game was fake due to them never doing an exclusive Lucasfilm game. Maybe it is, but who knows? Yeah. I feel like the Mando games have definitely probably been prototyped before, but I don't think that they would allow there to be a Mando game in an era when they're still making the Mando stuff, unless Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni wanted to be involved and wanted to write a story for the game that would be like, that would interweave into the series in some way, and that was fun to them.
It's not hard. I mean, they've established that he was a bounty hunter before season 1.
Right.
That doesn't interfere with shit. They could do it easily.
Yeah. And also, I mean, okay, not the best example, but let's just pretend we don't have real world politics. Cara Dune is a character who would have been prime for a video game kind of character in that kind of setting where it could literally have a whole thing before, lead up into, be parallel to, and not affect anything that mattered on screen, because the character was kind of just showed up for the Mr. and Mrs. Smith moment, you know, and then that one rescue thing or whatever. So it's like not like, there's other characters.
She would have had a first person shooter and it would have been called Cara Doom.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. Cara Doom. Yeah. Oh, there we go. I think we did it today, boys. I think we said it all. I think we did it all. I don't think there's anything else left to say. But I will. But one last thing is, Rob, I've been playing that Zelda game, and it's pretty fucking good, dude. It gets pretty fucking good. And
I hear you, but every Switch game looks like a Switch game to me now, and I just
listen.
You know,
I
didn't announce a lot of cool games coming out this year,
Rob,
but they all look like
Rob,
Switch.
I want you to pretend. Can't you just pretend that the game came out in 2012? Just pretend it came out in 2012. Best game of 2012, Rob. Rob, you didn't play that game in 2012, Rob.
Already
let
played
me tell
that
you.
game.
No, you haven't. That's what you think, Rob. That's what you think. I beat Breath of the Wild twice.
Right.
Played this shit.
Imagine if Mario Brothers 3 was made from all the assets from Super Mario Brothers. It wouldn't have done as well.
I don't care. I would still love that.
I know
it would
you
still
don't
be a
care.
good game. That would still be a good game because it is fundamentally a good game.
I hear you. Fundamentally, I get it, but realistically, I'm not playing any more of it. Like, I'm done. I'm out. Bored. It's visually uninteresting to me. Every Switch game, they just showed a new Mario RPG. Looks like a Switch game. There's no occlusion shadows. There's no kind of like bounce lighting. It just looks like a Switch game.
Oh,
like,
shut up! That's
like the same thing. They all look like the same thing.
At the end of the day,
they're all the same. It's all the same thing. Yeah, I get it. I get it. That's not your opinion. I'm not telling you it's not going to sell a gazillion copies. I'm telling you why I'm not buying every one of these things.
Then never play a Nintendo game for the rest of your life.
No, I just want them to upgrade to some new hardware. It's going to be 10 years by the time they get a new system.
You are going to die.
We're still playing the Wii U, and I owned a Wii U.
You will be dead before Nintendo has a console that is at the level that your PlayStation's at.
Of a PS4.
You will be fucking
PS4.
dead.
It's not even at PS4
You will
levels.
never play a Mario or a Zelda game again.
Yeah.
By
fair enough.
that rationale.
Good. But anyways, I don't have to.
I got the fucking Master Sword last night, right? Because I'm a real fucking man. I don't care about the conditions visually outside. I'll go out there. I'll go on the adventure. Yeah, I'll fucking face it. I will face Dark Ganon if I have to. Yeah. I'll get the Master Sword. No, but my point with this was that in the game, really good story about how you get the Master Sword in this version of it, right? And that's something I think that should probably not be overlooked in the James Mangold movies, is that lightsabers are something that people like literally love, and lightsabers have never had their Excalibur moment. And that's waiting to be written. And whoever fucking does that is just waiting to be like, oh, everybody's going to love me because I'm going to be cool. And it's laid out for you 99,000 times in 99,000 better fantasy stories that you'll never see on screen. And anybody who is aware of that stuff is just going to fucking pick it up, bring it over here to Star Wars, and be heralded as a champion who wrote one of the greatest Star Wars moments of all time.
The new Mario game looks nice, but if it were hand-drawn like Wonder Boy was with hand-drawn animations, it would look even better. So,
But Rob, sometimes we need to look at things for what they are, not what they should have been, could have been.
No, I don't got time for that anymore.
That. Then you'll never.
I don't have time for that. I could just draw my own stuff and then be, that's it. I don't need this. I know what I'm looking.
And that's why you should draw your own stuff and then enjoy things.
Look, Valkyria Chronicles is a beautiful game. I'm not sitting there. I don't think.
I don't even know what you're talking about right now, nerd.
Right, I know you don't. I'm not saying this stuff has to look like fucking The Last. I just need something that doesn't look like a mobile game from 2011. Like
it doesn't. It does not look that bad.
They all have the same look, same lighting, the same lack of shadows. You can only use shaders and art the same art direction so many times. But
I will always
Nintendo
think
fans
back.
are marks.
No, I will always think back to that time. I was like, what was it, like 9, 8? I was about 8. I walked into the cave and I picked up the sword and it says, it's dangerous to go take this. I picked it up and I said, where's the fucking shadow? I fucking kicked the Nintendo and I fucking went outside and didn't get fat.
I didn't like the first Legend of Zelda.
You're high! What is this? What is this guy? Who are you? What
like Metroid.
Yeah,
but that's Metroid. I like the music
Metroid
on Zelda too, but I couldn't understand how to play. It was fucking weird. Link to the Past blew me away. That's why I had to get a system.
I like
the rain.
I like Asatru. Therefore, I don't like Bespin. Because you know what? I wish Bespin was a little bit more like Asatru. It's a little bit more laid back, a little bit more gamey. No, I'm kidding.
I'd like a Zelda game that's at least on par with Genshin Impact, and that's not a crazy looking game.
I'm still on ColecoVision, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
We know, James. We know.
I don't know.
Donkey Kong fool.
Actually, the Dukes of Hazzard game.
Oh, and to be clear,
James, it's not a good look these days to be flaunting the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. I had the big will. I had the big will. I had the Dukes of Hazzard big will.
Just trying to help you.
But then I grew up.
Yeah, who was the guy talking about? God, there was a black gentleman talking about how he asked his parents for a General Lee toy when he was a kid, not knowing.
Mark Bernard. It was Mark Bernard
was
telling the story. Yeah.
It's like, I don't think he wanted that son.
Yeah, he didn't know. Yeah,
let's go with that. Luke didn't know it.
Yeah. How can we make Smokey the Bandit subtly racist? More, what I mean? But the heroes, not the villains, right?
I also just want to point out to everybody that this guy talked me out of buying the game, then went and bought the game. He owns the game right now.
I do. And now I won't play it
right now. And he's like, I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to support the company, give them all the money and tell them that.
Oh, no, I'm mad. I gave him $70, but they got me. I gave it a shot. I'm the first. Look, there are some people now criticizing that game. I like to say from the beginning, I was like, it just looks like more of the same shit with crafting, and I don't craft. So,
but it's not.
you know,
That's
it is.
And that's no.
It's
no,
got
no, it's not.
milky rocks and the same stupid like landscape design, and I'm not into it. Sorry. The last game that blew me away on the Switch was probably Mario Kart 8 or Bowser's Fury, somewhere between there.
Yeah, I played.
Bowser's Fury ran at 15 frames per second. So.
I played Jedi Survivor, which looks pretty fucking good, and I played this game back to back, and I don't look at it and go, why aren't you Survivor? Why don't you look like Survivor right now? Because it's not Survivor. It's a Zelda game, and it's like, and it's still.
I know you feel that way.
And it's still, other way you cut it, the best looking Zelda game ever made. That's the irony.
The best looking Zelda game ever made was the demo on the Wii U that they made, the Ocarina of Time.
That wasn't
demo,
a game ever made.
I played it too. It's a game. I played it at the Nintendo booth. It's official. That is the best looking game they've ever made. Second to Wind Waker.
That game was never made. We know it was a tech demo. Tech demo.
I like talking to women, getting laid, so I don't know.
Yeah,
James. We're us. Two of us here are getting laid on a regular basis, and one of us still has ColecoVision Dukes of Hazzard. That's just
what you do is you say, look
he telling us about getting laid, and he's got Princess Leia dolls in his background, like right
Girls
next to a CD
dolls.
collection.
Girls love dolls.
Not that Princess Amidala doll. I don't think so, bro.
Princess Amidala. Listen to this fake ass.
I can prove this because I dated this chick, and then I went into her room, and she had an Amidala, and she apologized for it. All right, she's like, "Yeah, that's been there since 1999." And that was in 2003. That was when it was, you could still maybe get away, but no, they were ashamed even then. Jason.
No, you couldn't get away with shit. I told you guys. My girlfriend bought me Sebulba boxers, broke up with me. Then on my next hookup, I had the Sebulba boxers on. I got laughed at, straight up laughed at.
Broba box.
But all right, guys, we're gonna call it. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Thank you for the super chat, Shogun Orda. I appreciate it, dude. And thank you to everybody for being a channel member and supporting the show and stuff like that. It means a lot. And we'll see everybody tomorrow, probably at the same time, I'd say, and talking about whatever the news is, and maybe getting us into some of the stuff some more. So if you're watching the show
the hot mic's tomorrow,
bring it.
Should we do the show before or after the hot mic?
Nah,
because Spreezy always throws money. He always does. You know he's gonna do it. You know he's gonna do it. Jason, okay, over under really quick. James, over under $10. Over under $10. Spreezy.
I'm going over.
He goes over.
I'm going over.
I'll take the under.
Yeah,
I'll take the under. I think he'll do it. He'll do an $8, some weird fucking thing, or a 5 and like a 3 spot.
Okay, well,
are we doing like what's the Australian currency?
Well, okay, I already have
or something.
I already have a message from him this morning. Should I ask questions to the hot mic? So I already have that.
I didn't go over under he will. I said over under how much he'll spend because you know he's gonna be watching. 100%.
And then Bestman sent some box office projections. Indiana Jones is 70 to 90 million. Mission Impossible 70 to 90 million. Barbie 60 to 85 million, and Oppenheimer's 40 to 55 million. So
they managed to figure no projection correctly this year. So we'll see what that's actually.
Yeah,
they're using those AI models. The same one, by the way. The news article is going back. Remember when Warner Brothers in 2020 signed up to have AI approve their fucking projects?
They're
not
doing
the same thing with.
I don't. If he got it where I believe he gets it from, that's not how they're doing it. They're actually taking the ticket samples from these 3 major cities, and then usually when you take that, then that number becomes fairly true.
Not in this economy,
but
not with vet benefits. Nope.
Wow. Hey man, all I know is I'm going to see Indiana Jones twice.
If you know, you know, James. If you know, you know.
Not in this economy. All right, bye everybody. James, thanks for hanging out with us, man. It was good. It was good to see you after a while.
Blue World Order.
You're always welcome. Any day you want to come on, you just come on. We'll see you there.
All right. Been warned.
Hey, he's got it, as Rob says, Princess Amidala dolls. You fake ass.
Right up there.
Fake ass.
Look at that.
You know what?
Amy Dalla, as Lucas would say.
Fake ass Nintendo fan.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go.
Hey! It's the end of the show. Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.